quite simply giving of myself to others. And I really see it as that simple. Being in the role of human resources, compassion for me in business is always related to the employee. An example of compassion would be trying to balance an employee's personal needs with the needs of the business. For instance, the need for a mom or dad to be home with a sick child versus getting a project in on time. And I think businesses do a good job at interjecting compassion into daily work life by using technology, by allowing people to have flexible hours and work at home, by realizing that if you extend some compassion to people and recognize that their personal life is important to them, that you will allow them to think more clearly about their business work when they're at the job instead of worrying about the rest of their personal life. As a mother of 2 boys, so I think, and I mentioned that on purpose because not being a male, the reactions, and not really growing up with boys, I had a much younger brother, I didn't really know what to expect. So it has amazed me how sensitive men are, young men particularly. So as a mom who loves her children, I've been compassionate in trying to understand as a parent rather than as a woman when my sons are angry at girlfriends or upset about situations. I have 2 very sensitive and artistic children, so they feel deeply. So I've had to withhold the voice that wants to say, come on, just, cowboy up and get on with it, and realize that they need some compassion too, even though they're, great, big, burly young men. So it's understanding the sensitive side to them and balancing that, and not getting angry when their sensitive side is trying to get them to make a different decision than I would. Probably the most startling example of compassion that I experienced was many years ago, several years ago. I ruptured a disc in my neck from no apparent reason. I woke up one morning with an excruciating pain. That pain was so overwhelming that it, over the course of several weeks, ended up making me fairly severely depressed. But I didn't know what was wrong. I knew that I wasn't right, both mentally and physically. I knew what the physical issue was, but I didn't understand what the emotional issue was. I had a very dear friend whose name is Ellen, who called me to see how I was, and she could tell from the tone of my voice that I was very, very sad. So she showed up at my door 20 minutes later, driving across Portland, with a cup of coffee and a bag of scones, and sat down and said that she wasn't leaving until I called my doctor and made an appointment, because she thought that I was depressed. And I did, and she took me to my doctor's appointment. I was having a hard time driving because I couldn't turn my neck because of the disc, and stayed there in the doctor's appointment with me, went into the doctor's appointment with me, told the doctor what she had observed in my daily life, and indeed helped me get help for depression, which was enormously compassionate of her. Left her work that day to come take care of me. I don't think I've ever had anybody show that kind of selflessness to me since then. I think there is enough compassion in the world. And I think there is enough because I think we mistake greed and need and victimization for compassion. What I would like is to see the world really focus on giving for the sake of giving to others and caring for those who need it, versus giving to feel better about themselves, giving to make a statement, giving to get their names on a list in the paper. So I guess what I would like to see is more true compassion and less personal acts called compassion that are just there for the sake of selfishness rather than self.